Do I need to start recording? Okay, well, I'm gonna go ahead and hit it if that's okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
Is it recording okay, Emily? Okay.
Emily, I just realized I forgot to stop that Tuesday.
There's a sensor over there that'll shut it off after everyone leaves, so, yeah.
Wow, we're uptown.
I understand.
Alone.
All right, it's 6 p.m. Call this meeting in order. Bishop Bolden, will you lead us in prayer?
Father, Lord, we thank you for once again being able to serve this great country, this great city, this capacity. We lift up and pray for all of our men and women who are coming back from Afghanistan. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated. Roll call.
Councilmember Dietz. Here. Councilmember Bolden. Here. Councilmember Blevins. Here. Councilmember Sansing.
Here.
Councilmember Ray.
Here.
Councilmember Mashburn.
Her light's on. You got to unmute, Barbara. Are you here?
Ms. Mashburn.
Get up.
Is she?
She's speaking.
Is everything?
Saying something.
She's trying.
She's trying to speak.
Yeah, her mute button's off. We're working on it. Okay, try again, Barbara. No.
Well, let's see if anybody else can answer. Councilmember Traylor.
Here.
Councilmember Twitty.
I heard her very quietly.
It's off somewhere. It's not coming through loud.
Yeah, Mary's not coming through. It may just be volume.
Councilmember Smith.
You got to unmute, Tara.
It's not coming through. 'Cause
No,
I heard Mary faintly off.
faintly.
Councilmember Raines.
Here.
All right, we're working on it, y'all there online. All right,
I think that might have fixed it. Barbara, can you speak to us?
Barbara, can you say yes? I'm here.
Councilmember
Can you hear me
Mashburn.
now?
Yeah.
Yes. All right, you say here.
Councilmember
Here.
Twitty.
Here.
Councilmember Smith.
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you. What about me?
Mr. Mayor.
Yeah, I'm hard to miss.
All are present, sir.
Thank you. So we don't really have anything on the minutes, do we? Do they have the minutes in front of them?
No.
Okay.
Yeah,
I didn't see anything written out here.
We'll
Okay.
get 2 sets next time. I finished the other ones almost today.
Okay. Did I hear anything about the consent agenda?
So moved that we accept the consent agenda as written.
Second.
Got a motion, second, any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. All right, motion carries. All right, that brings us to ordinance 1663 under Parks and Recs. I'd entertain a motion to place ordinance 1663 on the first reading.
So moved.
Second.
Motion, second, roll call.
Councilmember Dietz.
Yes.
Bolden.
Aye.
Blevins.
Aye.
Sansing.
Aye.
Ray.
Aye.
Mashburn.
Aye.
Traylor.
Aye.
Twitty.
Aye.
Smith.
Aye.
Raines.
Aye.
Ordinance number 1663, an ordinance waiving competitive bidding by the city of Jacksonville, Arkansas for the purpose
of purchasing a shot curtain for the Jacksonville shooting range, declaring an emergency and for other purposes.
Kevin, would you come address this in case someone has questions? Thank you. Y'all have all heard this before, but Kevin's going to explain to you this ordinance.
This is the same quote we had a month ago. And at the time, if you guys remember, I asked y'all to table it because I was waiting on the second quote. I've still not received it. I've talked to those guys numerous times. They actually told me Monday of this week they're too busy to even quote the job. So I'm asking tonight to waive competitive bidding so we can go ahead and get it ordered from the shot stop company.
Okay.
Just side note, remember this will be paid for out of the bond money.
Great.
And the price that's on here, the $179,550, does not include sales tax or shipping. They charge shipping whatever the actual cost is. He said they're not gonna make anything off the shipping, so it'll depend on once it's manufactured and they ship it to us, it'll be just straight cost for shipping. Obviously, it'll be 9.5%, which is $17,057.25 would be the tax on this.
Okay, any questions?
Mr. Mayor, I have a question. So with us having an emergency clause, when will we make this purchase? When will we have it shipped in? What are those expected
This company,
dates?
and it says here in the letter, they require 50% deposit to start manufacturing. I've actually talked to Jim Tyner, the owner of the company, today. He said once he gets verbal from me with us being the city, he would put it in line. We're looking about 3 to 4 weeks before they start production on ours. And it could be 6 weeks to 8 weeks production. So it's probably a 12-week, realistically 12 weeks before we have it. And there'll be other items to go along with this project I will be bringing to you guys. I needed to get this ordered because it's a long process. Everything else I do will go out for sealed bids, for competitive bidding. I need to waive the bidding for this.
And because it has emergency clause, once we all sign it, Stephanie, myself, and Susan, then it becomes in effect, yeah. Okay, any other questions?
I'll just bring up that I was in the original meeting, been about a year and a half, and the price is still good, but right now, everything's going up a lot. Manufacturing, just so you'll know, so the sooner we get it ordered, the better, and we're gonna have to have it anyway.
Right.
So it's
Yeah.
time to go ahead and do it.
That's right.
All right, anybody online got a question?
I have a question.
All right, Mary.
Kevin, did you say that this was, done by a bond? Did I hear you correctly?
Yeah.
The bond refinance, was that last year, Mayor?
Last year, year before, whenever we did that,
Okay. When we get the curtain, who installs it?
That's something that I will go out to bid on.
We
Because
have
there'll
to-
have to be a road put in, there'll have to be wood poles, and we've actually been in contact with First Electric and Entergy to see if they'll help us with the poles. First Electric seemed very receptive to helping. There's some, obviously, cabling and some hardware that'll have to go up onto the poles. This is the most critical part, though. We've got to get it
Take
coming.
an item first, yeah.
and some
Okay,
of it
thank
we
you.
maybe will do in-house.
Right.
Right. Maybe hanging the curtains, we don't know yet.
Right.
We may have to rent a scissors lift or something, so.
You have the installation included in your bid as well, correct?
This is just the
Or
project.
in the budget, I'm sorry.
In the budget,
not
yes,
the bid.
yes, sir. In the budget,
Yeah.
with the installation is in there, yes, sir.
Okay,
And we've been planning on this, trying to get ahead of the game when they were digging out gravel at the high school.
yeah, before they started the middle
We were
school.
getting it cheap, so we could have a place to put it.
Yep.
So we would have a hard surface, so we could drive in there. So we've been considering this for quite a while.
Correct.
Because we're gonna have to have it for EPA and everything else, so we're just trying to get ahead of it and do it as cheap as we could to start with.
Yes, sir.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, I'd entertain a motion to approve on first reading and put on second reading.
Second.
Got a motion, a second, roll call.
Councilmember Deets,
Aye.
Bolden,
Aye.
Levens.
Aye.
Sansing,
Aye.
Ray. Mashburn.
Aye.
Trailer.
Aye.
Twitty.
Aye.
Smith.
Aye.
Raines.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Any further discussion? I'd entertain a motion to approve on second reading, put on third and final reading.
Let's do it.
Second.
Okay, I'll take that as a motion in a second. Okay, roll call.
Councilmember Deets.
Aye.
Bolden.
Aye.
Levens.
Aye.
Sansing.
Aye.
Ray.
Aye.
Mashburn.
Aye.
Trailer.
Aye.
Twitty.
Aye.
Smith.
Aye.
Raines.
Aye.
Okay, last chance for discussion before we approve it. All right, I'd entertain a motion to approve and adopt 1663.
Second.
You got a second? All right, roll call.
Councilmember Deets.
Aye.
Bolden.
Aye.
Levens.
Aye.
Sansing.
Aye.
Ray.
Aye.
Mashburn.
Aye.
Trailer.
Aye.
Twitty.
Aye.
Smith.
Aye.
Raines.
Aye.
I'd entertain a motion on the emergency clause.
So move. Second.
Got a motion second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Councilmember Deets.
Aye.
Bolden.
Aye.
Levens.
Aye.
Sansing.
Aye.
Ray.
Aye.
Mashburn.
Aye.
Trailer.
Aye.
Twitty.
Aye.
Smith.
Aye.
Raines.
Aye.
Okay, we've approved and adopted the emergency clause on 1663. That moves us to Planning Commission. And I did put, without asking, and hope it's okay, that I put Councilmember Deets, since he is actually at those meetings, to be the sponsor of these from the Planning Commission. So ordinance 1668. I'd entertain the motion to put ordinance 1668 on the first reading.
So move.
Second.
Okay, roll call.
Councilmember Deets.
Aye.
Bolden.
Aye.
Levens.
Aye.
Sansing.
Aye.
Ray.
Aye.
Mashburn.
Aye.
Trailer.
Aye.
Twitty.
Aye.
Smith.
Aye.
Raines.
Aye.
Ordinance number 1668, an ordinance reclassifying property in the city of Jacksonville, Arkansas, amending ordinance numbers 213 and 238, and the land use map of the city of Jacksonville, Arkansas, declaring an emergency and for other purposes.
Thank you. I'd entertain a motion. Oh, any discussion on this? Anybody want to know what's going on?
I got a question. Are we talking about the area with the pond in it? Then?
Yes.
Yes, that is part of it, Mike.
And
It's
that's
all-
Cofelt down below it,
Yeah.
Yes.
so it's north of Cofelt on the Tonyville Road.
Yeah, it's real close to JB's Auto Salvage. And it's for an RV park for contractors at the base, contractors that are going to be doing the widening of 67, 167, that sort of thing. Or just somebody staying here to see family. It'll be an RV park, not a mobile home park.
Did I see,
Councilmember Blevins. Okay. Councilmember Raines.
did I see David and Karen on the call, on the Zoom call?
Yes.
Are they the owners of the property?
Yeah, I would like to hear from them if they would like to speak.
Okay, I was wondering who they were. Now I see their names, I realize who that is. David and Karen, would y'all like to speak about what you're doing and what your plans and how good it's going to be?
Well, we're just doing it, we're doing it for a retirement investment, and we want it to be something beautiful to leave our grandchildren.
And what do you anticipate this to be?
An overnight RV park. It's not gonna be a mobile home park at all. We're not interested in that at all.
Okay.
We live right on Cofelt Road, right on, it'd be right opposite of the pond on Cofelt Road. And so that's our long-term home. And so we're not gonna be, looking to move a bunch of mobile homes into our home.
Okay. And you have some drainage, other things that the planning commission said you're gonna have to do to get it done, is that correct?
Yes, sir. We're working with an engineer right now. He's supposed to be back with us this next week.
Okay.
And, he's been working on it for the last well, ever since the planning commission, approved it, we met with the engineer 2 days later.
Okay, thank you. Any questions of them or who?
Of you.
Of me or of Mr.?
Well, I'm wondering just from my own, why did we need an emergency clause on this?
Are they not planning to do something with land immediately?
Well, I get,
Typically, when we rezone stuff, we have an emergency clause, because a lot of times, people are waiting for construction. They're waiting on this to be rezoned so they can start building or start whatever plans they have.
Okay. Cool.
good, thank you, Stephanie. Any other questions? All right, entertain a motion to approve on first reading and put on second reading.
Second.
Got a motion and a second, roll call.
Councilmember Deets.
Aye.
Bolden.
Aye.
Blevins.
Aye.
Sansing.
Aye.
Ray.
Aye.
Mashburn.
Aye.
Trailer.
Aye.
Twitty.
Aye.
Smith.
Aye.
Raines.
Aye.
Okay, I entertain, any further discussion, any further questions of me, of Mr. Dietz, or the owners? Okay,
I've
I
got
entertain,
one maybe for Stephanie. R8, it's temporary placement of a recreational vehicle. Is there a definition of temporary?
I would have to look at the code. I don't know, to be
Okay.
honest, off the top of my head.
Okay.
I'm sure, I'm hoping that that it's defined somewhere, but I'll have to get back to you on that one.
I do have a question of the owners. So you'll be providing electricity for these people and water and sewer? Not, they won't go to the water company and get their own water like you would at a mobile home park or renting a
Correct.
house. Is that correct, Mr. Gibson?
Yes, sir.
Okay, well, thank you. All right, any further questions? All right, I'd entertain a motion to approve on second reading and put on third and final reading.
Second.
Got a motion and a second, roll call.
Councilmember Deets.
Aye.
Bolden.
Aye.
Blevins.
Aye.
Sansing.
Aye.
Ray.
Aye.
Mashburn.
Aye.
Trailer.
Aye.
Twitty.
Aye.
Smith.
Aye.
Raines.
Aye.
Okay, any further discussion before we go to approve and adopt? Okay, seeing none, I'd entertain a motion to approve and adopt.
Second.
Okay, roll call.
Councilmember Deets.
Aye.
Bolden.
Aye.
Blevins.
Aye.
Sansing.
Aye.
Ray.
Aye.
Mashburn.
Aye.
Trailer.
Aye.
Twitty.
Aye.
Smith.
Aye.
Raines.
Aye.
Okay, I entertain a motion on the emergency clause.
So move. Second.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Councilmember Deets.
Aye.
Bolden.
Aye.
Blevins.
Aye.
Sansing.
Aye.
Ray.
Aye.
Mashburn.
Aye.
Trailer.
Aye.
Twitty.
Aye.
Smith.
Aye.
Raines.
Aye.
Okay, thank you, Mr. and Ms. Gibson, for your explanation. We appreciate that. And, okay, so that'll move us on to ordinance 1668.
Thank you.
69, sorry. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Move us on to 1669. I'd entertain a motion to put 1669 on first reading.
So move. Second.
Got a motion to second, roll call.
Councilmember Deets.
Aye.
Bolden.
Aye.
Blevins.
Aye.
Sansing.
Aye.
Ray.
Aye.
Mashburn.
Aye.
Trailer.
Aye.
Twitty.
Aye.
Smith.
Aye.
Raines.
Aye.
Ordinance number 1669, an ordinance amending and modifying Jacksonville Municipal Codes 1828-020 et al., for zoning and property use provisions, declaring an emergency and for other purposes.
Any questions, discussion? Mr. Deitch, you wanted to explain what we're doing?
Well, I was just gonna enlighten just a little bit on why we did this. It's because every time that there's something that comes up, there's so many different zoning requests and codes. We were having to meet all the time on incidentals that we were just gonna pass anyway. So we've just made the codes a little more
lenient, so we can look at them. Like if someone's gonna take a C1 and go to a residential, you know, normally we have no problems taking a zoning request and going down for them. We do have a request for doing conditionals or going up, which is what we've seen in the past. So that was the reasoning to do this, just to save us all from having to look at something that we're just gonna, as was said, stamp, but that gives us a guideline to go by. So it makes it a lot easier.
So you're saying if somebody's in a C2 and I want to put it in a accounting office as a C1 business, then that would, I wouldn't have to come before you and get it rezoned to put my accounting office there.
Right, because you're going down.
Okay.
In zoning regulations.
Okay. So, okay, any questions of Melissa, Mr. Dietz, or anybody else?
I've got a question. So all the permitted uses and conditional uses for all the ordinance or all the codes that we're changing, like 30, 32, are they going away and just being replaced by what's in R0, R?
They're going away and being replaced by what's here.
Yes.
Okay.
Basically, Mike, we're trying to simplify a lot of it, so we don't overrun everybody on the same codes, trying to figure it out. So we'll all have a better idea on what it is as far as that. And something else, I think, hopefully y'all are getting it. I asked Susan that when we were gonna have a planning commission meeting, that every one of the city council members get a copy of what's coming up when we get it, so that you will have it. And that way, you know, due diligence, you can go out there and kind of look at it and see what's happening too. So you'll have a little more insight on it. It's better to go out there, drive through it, look at it, so you'll know exactly what piece of property we're talking about and why we're doing it. I mean, the planning commission, I'm going to tell you, is pretty serious about not doing something that affects the feasibility of Jacksonville in the study. It's very serious, and we take it seriously. So, and that's why we did the codes, to change them, not to confuse everybody, to make it easier, so we could all be on the same page.
And Councilmember Trailer, to clarify on your last question, the last page of the ordinance, there are three provisions where it says things will be removed. So like, for example, the second paragraph says shall be amended and modified to remove the following, so that's coming out. But the others are just an amendment, if that helps.
Okay.
You have more questions, Councilmember Trailer? Not right this minute? Okay, any other questions? Okay, I'd entertain a motion to approve on first reading and place on second reading.
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion, a second, roll call.
Councilmember Dietz.
Aye.
Golden.
Aye.
Blevins.
Aye.
Sansing.
Aye.
Ray.
Aye.
Ashburn.
Aye.
Trailer.
Aye.
Twitty.
Aye.
Smith.
Aye.
Raines.
Aye.
Okay. Any questions yet after we go and look at it? And does anybody got any more questions?
I mean, can we table this and vote on this at the next meeting so that I can?
Okay, there's a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, got a motion, a second. All those in favor, we're going to table it till our next meeting and vote on passing it then. All those in favor?
Can I ask a question before we,
Yeah.
it's more of the discussion type. On the commercial, and I haven't looked through, I didn't do the commercials, I was looking at all the R1s and R2s and all that. But would this allow someone to put a modular home in a commercial district?
No.
Why would it not?
Because that would be.
That's not a current permitted use, from my understanding.
It's not a permitted use of a commercial to put a mobile home. I mean.
The
Okay,
only
a conditional use of, which one is this, 1826,
Have to be approved.
is R1A. A conditional or a permitted use in R1A, or conditional use, I'm sorry, is a modular home. And, okay, this is where you get into the permitted uses are some, but the conditional uses are.
Yes.
Right.
lot to read, all right.
Right,
Okay.
it's
Okay.
a lot to take in, and just
understand.
reading it once, yeah, and I would have a similar question. You said that going down in regulation wouldn't have to be permitted, so that would mean going from like a residential that is like a C or a residential 3 going to like a mobile home site wouldn't have to be passed.
No,
Is
that's actually
that-
going up.
That's going up, okay.
But if you were zoned for a duplex and you decided to build a single-family home, it's R2 going to R1.
Okay.
You can just do that. That's not a problem.
Okay,
Right,
It's-
mobile homes are R8? Right, so, yeah.
Okay.
So the lower number, R0, R1. Just to
I would
clarify,
still
since we don't
feel-
allow living quarters in commercial areas, even though R1, you can't take a business and turn it into a residence, is my understanding.
Right.
Okay.
The other thing is you got to think about it when these regulations are done. The subdivisions already have subdivision rules. Let's just take whatever Stonewall. There might be a vacant lot, but it's still already got a bill of assurance that you can't put a mobile home in there or double wide. There's already a lot of protections on all these areas. These are for areas like we discussed that are outskirts areas, and a lot of areas that would be, like on Main Street. I got a building. They couldn't put a farm in there. I mean, it's already zoned for this. You'd have to get it still approved. That stuff would have to come before the planning commission. But what we're talking about is someone going from, R, which is okay residential out in an area. We got some regulations on R1 that you can't build in the floodplain unless you're 2 foot above floodplain. So that hinders what people are going to build, and the flood insurance is quite expensive now. So you could take that same piece of property, which we're doing right down on TP White, and let somebody put in a commercial building. And the guidelines is completely different. So they put in their 2 office buildings, put in a strip center, brings Jacksonville revenue, we get tax money, and there's a building there instead of vacant land. But that's what we're trying to do, is make it where that people can still do something, that you can go down, and not everything has to come before the planning commission and then come before the city council.
Okay, there's a motion on the table to table this to our next meeting, to finish it next meeting and give all of y'all time to read what's going on, which I don't think, this is a great emergency, is it, Mike, for the city?
No, it's
Okay.
not. It's not a big issue.
Okay, so all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. All right, the motion carries. We are going to hold it until the next meeting will start at approval on second reading and move to third and final. Okay? Everybody with me on that? All right, now we have an adjustment to our agenda, and now I want to say this before we get to that, is we will stick to the agenda, is why we're doing this. If it's not on the agenda, we're not going to talk about it. And if people are here to speak, I would like for them to tell one of us, council member, myself in advance, so they want to speak on anything. We know that in advance, then we can call them to speak. But if it's not on the agenda, we're not going to address it. And so we had a request by Councilmember Raines that fell through the cracks, and so we want to adjust the agenda to put her request, which is the one right above A on your amended agenda, which is she wants input from the council members for her, it's under committees, for her environmental committee feasibility study. So I would need a motion and a second and a vote to approve putting it on, to amend, to adopt the amended agenda.
A motion to adopt the amended agenda to allow Ms. Raines to have her motion put on there.
Okay.
Second.
And got a second. All right. All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed, nay. I never got.
Motion passed.
Yeah.
Yeah, motion passed. Okay. So now we're under the revised agenda.
Right. So right now where we're at, we've basically come up with a solution. We've defined our restrictions, our constraints, what we're looking at, and we need a feasibility study to make sure that this is the most that it is the best thing for us to follow through with. Having a specialist make sure to go through on the numbers will make sure that we're making conscious decisions, you know, on what we're doing in the future. What I had discussed with Jimmy Oakley, I don't think
He's
that
not here.
Yeah.
He's out of town. He had to go out of town.
Right. So we did have a position on the city website for a city engineer. That position did not get filled, and that position was closed in July. That is one of our limiting factors. We could also look into going with a contractor, but Jimmy said that that would be about $150 an hour, even with us doing the majority of the work, you know, defining the restrictions and doing the research and all of that stuff. Like, that's the majority of the work. They just have to do the crunching of the numbers, you know. But that's still a lot of money. I would like for us to possibly look into putting that position back online. I was telling Susan, we have 17 accredited universities that have EIT colleges within their university branches. We can reach out to all of the deans, and a lot of times they have like an alumni email list where they will send out job opportunities to alumni, you know. So there's things that we can do to, you know, help get this ball rolling. But right now we're at a crossroads and we need to know where we need to go.
Now, Mr. Oakley had talked to me about redoing that and putting it 80,000 or so for get it out there, and maybe we could attract a quality person and keep us from having to spend this money. And since he's on the drop, we're going to need somebody to take his place when his drop time's up. So we need to start getting them trained now.
For sure.
Okay,
For
so
sure.
yes, we are going to repost that job.
Okay, when is that going to be online and available? Because
Why don't you ask Charlotte are you in the room?
Yes.
I don't know if Jimmy's talked to you, if you got that ready to go out. Okay.
I have not talked to Jimmy.
And that's since I just talked to him yesterday and today about it. So.
Sent me and Cheryl an email about this
Right.
today.
So within the next few weeks, we should be able to get it out.
It'll be out probably, I'm off tomorrow and I'm off Monday, so we'll get it back out there on Tuesday.
Thank you.
Yes,
And talk to Jimmy and I about the price before you post it.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, and that's it.
I have a question, Mayor.
Yes.
I have a question for Councilman Raines. What is, and I'm just asking this, what is exactly are you looking to get from the environmental committee feasibility study? Like, what is the result that you're looking for?
So we're just making sure that the rough numbers that we're looking at and the rough numbers that we've been playing with Jimmy and all of that meets the exact numbers that a specialist would be able to give us.
For what?
Thank you.
Yeah, so in particular, the most complex thing is that anaerobic digester. It's going to be putting in inputs. There are many options of inputs. So we have to go through all of those inputs, decide which one is best for the result output that we're looking for, which is a digestate that we are able to use as fertilizer for the beautification program, so that we are saving hundreds of thousands of dollars in fertilizer alone. And the other output of an anaerobic digester is methane gas or biogas. Right now, because of the advancements since the creation of anaerobic digesters way back in like the 1850s, we have commercial entities that have created basically a plug-and-play system where it is a closed anaerobic digester that creates a clean methane gas that can be directly used in any generator that we end up going with. But all in all, the rough numbers show that that's going to cost roughly $2.5 million over the $5 million that 10 acres of solar panels would cost.
That is your question, Councilmember Blevins.
Yes, sir, but I will say that it does present one more question. Where are you looking at getting the money to purchase that? I'm just trying to say, if we're going to spend money to get an engineer to do the feasibility study to see if we can use an anaerobic digester that will save us money, but it's going to cost us $2.5 million.
Right. So
where are we going to get the 2.5 to make the money for the feasibility study worthwhile?
So there's a lot of EPA grants out there that are available for more sustainable energy resources, as well as recycling. This is one of those 2-for-1 birds. We are recycling biological waste, and we are creating a long-term solution for it.
Right. So I understand what the anaerobic. I'm just wondering where the money, I know that you want to get the money for the engineer. Okay. Have you already started on the grants already?
We are currently in the process of that. Primarily, the resource that we would be looking into is the EPA, which does have a couple of different options. But unfortunately, Jimmy's been pressed because he does not have the positions that he needs, to run the ship that he runs. And so once we get those positions, then we will be able to get a better idea of what the exact numbers look like.
That's it for me, Mayor.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes, sir.
I'm a part of that committee, and I missed the last meeting. But as a wastewater operator, a digester for a 30,000 city like Jacksonville is not feasible. You can't break even with those things. Those things are very expensive to operate, and you just can't. It's other cities that made presentations in the classes that I took as being a wastewater operator. Those digesters are not. They work, but can you really get a return on it? Do you got to generate your own electricity and all that kind of thing? In Jacksonville, you got to set up all this stuff. Northern Rock is the only place I see now that take their own electricity from a digester. What they get methane gas from the dump here.
Landfill?
Yes, they get the dump here and they sell it to Energy, and Energy sells it back, and they sell it to Energy. And they get some from them. That's their feasibility study. But those things are very expensive to operate. And it's really a losing battle over a period of time to me. All the classes I've had on it.
Okay.
There have been a lot of advancements in the last couple of decades, and it's definitely something that we need to be researching and making sure that we're making the right decision.
And it might behoove us to talk with the Placer County Solid Waste Board.
Right, and we're actually going to be setting up a tour of that facility and looking into our resources with the DEQ
and they may have some options for you.
And
as well.
And from just roughly looking out there at the website, they do have resources. It's just like I said, we just need a full running ship first, and we'll be good to go.
Okay. All right. Any further questions for Councilmember Raines? comments?
I don't, other than, I'm all for us hiring an engineer. I think the city needs an engineer. Let's just make sure we hire an engineer that fits what the city needs and not some
Agreed.
environmental study.
So he's talking to you. He was looking at you, okay. All right, and that was Charlotte. Okay, any other questions before we move on? Okay, our next item of business is ordinance 1667, which will include a public hearing. I'd entertain do I need to open the public hearing first? Okay, so I want to, at 6:39, open the public hearing on vacating and closing portion of Lamanco Drive. Anybody here wishing to speak for or against the closing part of Lamanco Drive? Okay.
I'll speak for it. I think we ought to do it.
Okay, well, you're a counselor, you can't speak, so.
Can't speak for it.
Okay, so, all right, at 6:40, we close the public hearing. I'd entertain a motion to place ordinance 1667 on the first reading. All right. Roll call.
Councilmember Deeds.
Aye.
Bolden.
Aye.
Levens.
Aye.
Sansing.
Aye.
Ray.
Aye.
Mashburn.
Aye.
Trailer.
Abstain.
Twitty.
Aye.
Smith.
Aye.
Raines.
Aye.
Ordinance number 1667, an ordinance vacating and closing a portion of Lamanco Drive, Jacksonville, Arkansas, and for other purposes.
Okay, even though you can't vote on it, you can sure explain it for us, Marty.
Okay. What we're doing back, if you really want to. No.
Oh, okay.
Years ago, we did come to the city and we asked for part of Lamanco Drive to be closed, and you can see that's on the part that's back down towards the south end. At that time, we did not own all the properties that were on the western side of the Lamanco Drive. We currently do own, well, we don't own the buildings anymore, they're gone. But we do own all those properties now, and just in our addition of our warehouse space, we need that road for other purposes.
So you're talking about what used to be Plantation Plaza,
Right.
And that silly club that was there, and the Comcast
Locksmith
building.
and Peaches. Yes.
Right, and so those are all gone.
Those are gone.
I see your ice machine's gone too.
Ice machine is gone too.
Okay, so any questions on what this request is?
No, I think it's a great request. I think it needs to be done for them.
I'm gonna miss my nighttime drives down that street.
Yeah.
Commend Lamanco for staying in Jacksonville and being such a good partner with everything they do in Jacksonville.
75 years, great
I mean,
family,
it's-
great place, great for our community, and they're expanding, so yeah, what more can you say? All right, so now to entertain a motion to approve on first reading, put on second.
Approve it on first reading.
Second.
Got a motion and a second, roll call.
Councilmember Deeds.
Aye.
Bolden.
Aye.
Levens.
Aye.
Sansing.
Aye.
Ray.
Aye.
Mashburn.
Aye.
Twitty.
Aye.
Smith.
Aye.
Raines.
Aye.
All right. Any discussion? All right, entertain a motion to put on, approve on second, put on third and
So
final reading.
moved.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All right, roll call.
Councilmember Deeds.
Aye.
Bolden.
Aye.
Levens.
Aye.
Sansing.
Aye.
Ray.
Aye.
Mashburn.
Aye.
Twitty.
Aye.
Smith.
Aye.
Raines.
Aye.
All right, before we go to approve and adopt, any further discussion? Thank you for,
Approve.
okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, here we got a motion and a second, approve and adopt, roll call.
Councilmember Deeds.
Aye.
Bolden.
Aye.
Levens.
Aye.
Sansing.
Aye.
Ray.
Aye.
Mashburn.
Aye.
Twitty.
Aye.
Smith.
Aye.
Raines. I'm sorry.
Aye.
Okay, so we've Councilmember Traylor, thank you for your explanation, and thank you for your company, and please tell the Belden family we appreciate them being here.
I will do that.
Thank you, sir.
Thank y'all.
Okay, that moves us to a discussion of Councilmember Blevins wishing to discuss Unity Health and the Hospital Board. Councilmember Blevins.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mayor. I wish I had a copy of the contract. I've asked a couple of times to get a copy of the contract that you signed at the end of last year. I know we've gotten a lot of letters of. I'm sorry.
I thought y'all had one, but okay.
Okay. I know we got a lot of letters of intent, and then we have the asset purchase agreement
And that's all
that you
there
signed.
is.
I'm sorry?
That's all there is that I know of.
Okay, well, you said there was one, and I FOIA requested it, and then you said also during the city council meeting that you had one, and then I know that someone else asked, and you said you have it on your computer, that you don't have a physical copy of it, and I know that there's been a lot of updates to it with the letters of intent. Here's my concern. Here we are, like almost 9 months into the year. We're 3 months away from the next year, and 8 months away from the hospital actually opening, and we have no idea what obligations the city has in completion with this deal. And also, like with the hospital board, I know that the hospital board said they were giving us an ambulance. When I spoke with you before I got in here, you told me that the city owned the Department of Workforce Services building, and
Okay,
that
well,
money
that's actually the
went to the
hospital
city.
board. Hospital board owns it.
Yeah, well, I just found that out, but so I guess my question is, you know, I know that we lost the Department of Work. I know we lost the Department of Workforce Services out of there, and I know that you put the building up for sale just recently. You know, we're just so close to about time to have to pull the trigger on it, and there's still no paperwork for us to look at. That is my only concern.
As far as I know, the only documents there are is the asset purchase agreement and the letter of intent.
What about the agreement that said that we have to hire 6 EMTs to man?
That's in the asset purchase agreement, and that's if we can, and that's if y'all approve it.
But that's an agreement with the city that you only signed as the chairman of the hospital board, but it still obligates the city.
Maybe indirectly, but if we can provide that transportation without hiring the 6 people, then we're not under that obligation.
Okay, and please forgive me, but that does not say that in the assets purchase agreement. And I know that actually last time we mentioned this, it was said, hey, look, do you know if this has it, like, you know, do they know that we're not going to possibly, you know, budget for this and be okay with it? And you said they will. So I don't know if there has been an amendment made to allow that or not.
No amendment, and it's really unenforceable. If we can't do the transport, we've worked out agreements with other ambulance services to make the transport.
At whose cost?
At the patient's cost.
Okay, so no cost from the city at all.
No, and if we transport them, it'll be at the patient's cost, and maybe we'll collect it, maybe we won't, who knows? If MIMS collects it or doesn't collect it, who knows? If Southern collects it or doesn't collect it, we don't know.
Can you, at some point tomorrow, send everybody on the council a copy of the contract and letter of intent and all the everything that's up to date?
Well, okay, that's all there is. What you've gotten is the only thing that's been signed.
Okay, but what I have and what everybody else has, I don't think is the same.
Okay, Susan, you have it, right? You got it.
I do not have it. I have a copy of the letter of intent. I don't have a copy of the asset purchase agreement.
Okay, I'm sure it's somewhere. We'll try to get it to you, maybe Monday or Tuesday before I can get it to you, but I'll get it to you next week.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. But that's all they
Will
are.
that be a copy to, excuse me, will that be a copy to all of us?
And the press.
Thank you.
Okay, and now then your item C, I would like to combine it with item E, which is where we're going to discuss the 22 budget. So I figure we just put all the budgets together. That's okay with you, Councilmember?
Before we move on from B, I actually had a question. before we move on from the contract with Unity Health and the hospital board. I've had a couple of constituents reach out to me about the road conditions there, and then going north up from that direction with the dump trucks and everything that's going through. There's been a lot more potholes and stuff like that. So are we responsible as the city to address those potholes?
If it's on Braden Street, yes. If it's on Marshall Road, yes. If it's on John Hardin, no. The state is responsible for maintaining that road.
Okay.
Does that answer your question?
That does, but that leads to my second question of when are we going to address that, and really is it like something that we should address now if it's going to be a continuous problem, you know,
now, I drive
while
down
they're
Braden Street
constructing.
at least weekly, and I haven't noticed any problem. But
If it's on the service roads and Councilmember Raines is getting calls from constituents, I know if they tried calling the state to get it fixed, they would not have near as good a results if we could get Mr. Oakley to possibly contact.
well, and we do call them in
Okay,
our.
that's all I'm.
Right. I call them. I've called them on TP White. There's a terrible bump.
Right.
And actually, I had Representative Perry send them the 10th of this month. Email asking them to fix that, and they did fix the bump over on John Hardin.
Right.
It's better, but man, they kind of got their own mindset on things.
Right. Yeah,
Can I
but
say something?
Yes.
The reason they have their own mindset on certain things because everybody knows the highway is going to be different soon. They're not going to throw money at something that they're going to change eventually. That just don't make sense. So there's going to be potholes. I get phone calls too about potholes, and I tell them they'll fix them once the work's done. We don't work miracles around here. We try to get the job done and use the money right. We've had COVID-19, which has put off some of the work that they're doing. So yes, I'm sure they're going to fix it, but we got to remember, as long as the work's going on, it's no need to fixing a hole and it comes back.
Okay. All right. You got any more questions?
no, that's it. I'm just making sure that it's covered.
Okay. Councilmember Blevins, can I move your item C
Yes,
to
sir.
E, make that discussion
Yes, sir.
into one? All right, so that moves us to discussion item C.
D.
D, an update on completion of highway widening, and I
Yes,
do
sir.
have a phone number for you if you would like it. The head of the project for RDOT.
Good luck with that one.
We've been trying to get a date when they're gonna issue the contract. They told me later this year, and now I think they're leaning towards more of the first of next year, but I think they've either gone to court or they purchased the right of way, and now we're working on utility movement. But Kelly Wiley, K-E-L-I, she's an engineer, and she is the lead engineer on this. It's 501, of course, 569-2247. And that's her telephone number, and she is the lead engineer on this project. And she might could give you an update on when they expect to let that contract. Now, when they complete it, who in the world knows? It took them a lot longer to build these. It took them twice as long to do these two bridges as they had planned.
Well, let me, if you don't mind,
Yeah.
I'd like to explain why. Number one, I think we've all been hearing about this highway widening for a minute. Like, it was even back during the Fletcher campaign. I mean, it's been like over 3 years.
It was when I was a state rep.
Yeah, I mean, they said that it was going to be like they were finishing up the stuff, so it was supposed to happen. And I know that we got in there and they have completed both sides, and we've become like the bottleneck for both of those.
Oh, without a
And
doubt.
also we've had problems with Main Street Bridge, the Van Buren Bridge, like all those bridges are getting constantly used, and I thought we were, we obviously didn't think that it was going to be this long to get it, but I mean, we're still getting wear and tear on those bridges from this full time going on, and they were talking about it being started already, and I think even Benton and Bryant are already getting their areas widened. I want to make sure that we just weren't missed.
No, we're not. That money's already been set aside, and it was not part of the half-cent sales tax. Okay, that money, Senator Bozeman has got us some money for that project, got them some money, and so it will be done. This is the hardest part they're having to do because of the way it's made and how narrow and how many businesses it's going to affect.
Yes, sir.
What I was gonna say, people don't realize, you know, even though it's highway department, there's a ton of businesses along there that's been there for a long time that weren't really willing to give up their property at the minimum wages they were wanting to sell us.
Mhm.
So you're talking about Bart Gray, you're talking about Ramada, you're talking about taking
Rodney Chevrolet.
Watney, all the major people in Jacksonville, and you know, with the prices they were coming up with, it took a long time to even get them to agree to start doing that. So that's one of the things. In Benton Bryant, you had a long enough area, and some of these Cabot that you had wide open land.
They had more right-of-way.
They had right-of-ways. So yeah, we're not falling behind, and we'd like to get ours done just like everybody else, but there's a timeline and a lot of delays. But that's been one of the big delays, is trying to get all the businesses to agree all the way along 67167.
I mean, it may cause tax shelter to close and move. Yeah.
It's all politics.
It's all politics.
It's all politics.
So true.
Well, I'm
We
just
fell
going
out
by
of-
the fact they said that it was going to be done
I know.
like
We
well
fell out of-
before this, and I want to
fell
make
out
sure
of-
we didn't miss our shot.
We fell out of favor.
No, we have not.
With the state.
We're still working.
Some over 10 years ago, 20 years ago.
Yep.
And we've been suffering ever since we fell out of favor with, I don't want to go into why we fell out, but I know why we fell out. And we having a hard time trying to get back up. It's all politics.
It's all politics, and also we have to realize that President Biden just got an infrastructure plan and got approved, and you can believe that everything that's going on these highways is included in that.
All right.
So, I mean, will I get the same response, you think? Like, will she actually speak to me? I mean, I guess I'm asking. Like, I mean, you're the mayor, and you just gave me your number. But I mean, is this something?
Well, I
if I
haven't
call
called,
her, that
I
she'll
haven't
actually
called
speak with
Kelly
me?
lately because Mark Headley, until earlier this week, was our District 6 engineer, and that's who I talked to. Mark's been moved somewhere else, and I don't know the new guy. I don't have his phone number. But
Well, maybe with the new people, we can get in there and be like, hey, we're ready.
I'm going to keep. I've been pushing this since way before I came in office, and I'm going to keep pushing it.
Okay. I'm ready to move on to your budget.
I'm ready. All right, so Cheryl, you're up. All right, so this is discussion item, the 22 budget, when it might be ready, when council's going to get a
Right.
chance to look at it, what it might look like if you got any ideas.
I'm going to go over the budget timeline as a starting point. In September is whenever we gather all of our information from our departments, and then in October, we review the current budget and see if there's anything that's been requested that needs to go ahead and be funded this year or put it in the budget for next year. And we have a regulation that we have to follow. If there's a 5% variance from either revenues or expenditures from our original budget, we have to come before City Council to get a budget amendment. And so we usually do that in October. And then in November, we present a preliminary budget to City Council to let you know where we've sit with everything. And then in December, we present a final budget for the council to vote on. And we try to get the final budget passed before January the 1st. So that's the overall timeline that we generally use.
And I would like to have it ready by the first meeting in December, so we could have a special meeting in the middle to discuss the budget with the department heads.
Mhm.
And then the third Thursday, hopefully we could pass the budget if we get our questions answered by the second Thursday.
Okay. Well, we normally have budget meetings and everything through in the month of October is whenever we have budget meetings, and we usually send out last year, I know that we did this, is that we sent out information to all of the council members if they wanted to attend any of the budget meetings and when those budget meetings were scheduled.
When and where and all that.
Exactly. And so that they could have input. In your packet, I had included some spreadsheets, and I want to go over those real quickly. On the first one, it's the revenue spreadsheet, and it shows that our the main one that revenue source that we receive is our sales tax, and on an average for if you take 2019, 2020, and so far this year up through July, on average, the sales tax was 72%. And so that's what the revenue chart showed. And then I also did a breakout on the sales tax. On our county sales tax, it shows that we've increased according to the chart. It looks like it's starting to level off, but it's still more than what we've previously had in previous years. And in the city sales tax, it's showing an increasing trend at the moment, but I don't know exactly how far up it's going to go before it starts leveling off. And so, but I wanted you to at least see that there has been a jump in both county and city sales tax this year compared to the 2 previous years. The next one was the expenditures by department. And as you can see by the information, Parks and Recreation is about 13.8%, and the Fire Department is 26.1%, and the Police Department is 31.4%. Those are our 3 largest departments, which everyone pretty much.
Could whoever's on 501-517-70-434 please mute yourself? Thank you.
Okay. And then the next one is the same information, only instead of it being by departments, it's by category. And it shows that our largest amount is on personnel services, our personnel cost, and that's at 72.5%. So I just wanted to give that out there so that you have an overview of how the budget is broken down. In addition to that, at your stations, I have put before you a copy of a City of Jacksonville budget priority survey. This is a survey that I'm putting out online. It's going to be available September the 1st through September the 14th through our website, to where our citizens can go online and fill it out. But in addition to it being online, I've also in order to let people know that it's available online, I've asked the water department to put a notification in the water bills. And I've given it to him in time to where he said that it would cover 3 out of the 4 billing cycles. So it will get the majority of our citizens, but it will miss 1 cycle.
Sure, when did you say it was going to be online?
September the 1st through September the 14th.
And we would like the public's feedback on this, just to give us some guidance and direction of where we're going.
And it's going to be on the city's website underneath the finance?
On the city website. I'm not exactly sure where about on the website it's going to be, but I think, Emily, is it going to have like a banner or something?
Yes, it'll have a banner across the top.
Could you send us a link when it's active?
And also, in addition to it being online, I'm also going to have paper copies available. The water department said that they will have some available. I can have some there available in case anyone inquires at the water department. I've also contacted the library and the Chamber of Commerce, so I'll have some there, and then also at our community center and at City Hall. So there will be paper copies available for people who don't like to use the computer. And on the back of the paper survey, it's got the information on where it can be faxed or emailed or mailed in. But at the locations such as the library, the Chamber of Commerce, and the community center and City Hall, I can go by and pick those up. So if they pick them up, fill them out, and just turn them right back in while they're there, I can just go by and pick them up on a weekly basis or every so often whenever they get overloaded or whatever. And so that kind of helps to be able to get more people to participate, hopefully. And so, and we'll use this information to help us with gathering our information for September on our budget. And so that's all I have.
Councilmember Trader, are you good for now?
Yeah, I do got one question though, when never
Okay.
really has occurred until you put this in like this.
Okay.
In your interim financial reports,
Yes.
is there any way that we could add a column that compares it to last year?
Compare it to
Because
last
I mean,
year?
like, if I'm looking at this right here, if I just picked this up and didn't know what I was looking at,
Mhm.
and I probably don't.
Okay.
But it's showing, 2019, 20 million, 2020, 22 million,
Mhm.
2021, 10 million. Well,
Mhm.
it looks like we're doing terrible. But how does that compare?
Okay.
What is that 10 million comparing to?
Okay.
It's July.
Yeah, the 10 million is just for the month of July.
Right, I
the
understand that, but I mean,
through
what
July,
was it
yeah.
in 2019 through July?
Through-
What was it in
okay.
2020 through July? So we can see,
Okay,
are we
you-
behind or are we ahead?
Okay, you want that
Yeah, can
in-
that be,
in the-
can that be in this?
in the financial statements?
Just
Mhm.
where we were the last year?
If you get it done before our next meeting, could you email it to them?
Mm-hmm.
All right, thank you.
I have a, Mayor?
Mr. Trader, does that help you?
I think I'm helped.
You done for now? All right,
I didn't have any
Councilmember Blevins.
questions until you asked me.
Yes, so essentially this 2021 should be roughly, like if we're gonna stay on average, this is roughly about 66% of what it was in comparatively to 2019 and 2020, right?
Mm-hmm.
I am kind of concerned, and I think this may already be something that I mentioned, but on page 20, the capital outlay for 2019 was $373,000, and for 2020 was 1.2 million. I think, is this the same thing that I already contacted you about, or?
I'm
There's
not
like-
exactly sure what, on page 20, I don't know what you're
It's
talking about.
where it says personal services, contract services, supplies and materials. This says capital outlays and others. It says 2019 was 373,000, but 2020 was 1.2 million, and then 2021 is at 164.
This one?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the
Mhm.
fourth
Yeah,
line.
the capital outlays, that includes equipment, it includes constructions, and so it may be that in 2020, we had several projects going on that we didn't do in 2019.
Would the money we got from the federal government because of
Mhm.
COVID, does that affect that
The CARES
number in
Act
2020?
would affect that, yes, because we used a lot of the CARES Act money for capital outlay.
Okay, and for other, it's at 0. So we haven't spent any money on other?
In the other category, yes.
Poor other just got left out?
Poor other got left out, yes.
What would normally, that other would, what normally would
It
we
would just
spend
be,
other?
it would just be miscellaneous that couldn't fit in any of these other little categories. But it would just be like a miscellaneous.
Councilmember Blevins, your questions are answered? Does anyone else have questions of Cheryl? I have a comment. The increase that we're seeing in sales tax has a whole lot to do with the tax of online sales. That has been really beneficial to the city, and I'm glad we're collecting that because that was money that was being spent. And so that's good. Does anybody else have any comments or questions of Cheryl before we move on to what we're going to do with the money from the American Recovery Plan?
Thank you, Miss Cheryl.
Okay, you're welcome.
Do what now? What was that last thing you said?
We're going to move on to the American Recovery Plan.
We had any questions about that?
Okay, all right, Cheryl, let's talk about the American Recovery Plan. I think some of us have seen what North Little Rock's doing, and so I just think, go ahead and explain that.
Okay. In the packet, I included a kind of an information sheet, and I'd like to just kind of go over that quickly. It says American Recovery Plan, ARP. What is it? It's federal funding to help American recover from the negative impact of COVID-19. How much do we get? The city of Jacksonville has been allotted $5.4 million. We have received $2.7 million. The remainder will be received in a year. What is the time frame for us to spend these funds? And it says these funds are to cover expenditures from March the 3rd, 2021 through December 31st, 2024. And funds must be allocated by December 31st, 2024, but in case of a large projects that are not completed by then, we actually have until December 31st of 2026. But all of the funds, the contracts have to be signed and everything has to be allocated before December 31st, 2024 on those funds. And then what can it be spent on? There are 4 major categories of the funds. First is premium pay. We're allowed to pay up to $13 an hour to essential employees, not to exceed $25,000. We have to document the employee worked in person. It will not pay for any teleworking during a time period when the pandemic caused a heightened risk for the workers. This includes employees that came in contact with the public or handled items that others had handled. The negative impacts allowed to use funds for public health, such as vaccinations, testing, contact tracing, etc. Negative economic impacts, which is household assistance, job training assistance, aid to nonprofits, aid to other impacted industries, etc. And services to disproportionate impacted communities, which is education assistance, housing support, etc. Anything filed under this category has to be directly tied to COVID-19. And if we give any assistance to nonprofits or any other organization as a pass-through, we have to report exactly what they're spending the funds on. So we still are responsible showing that they're spending it on one of these 4 items. So they still have to abide by the same rules. But we're still held responsible on how they spend it. Infrastructure, we're allowed to spend on infrastructure that is only related to water, sewer, and broadband. That's the only infrastructure that this will allow us to spend on. And then the 4th one is lost revenues. Once the lost revenue is calculated and reported, funds can then be spent on any governmental service up to the amount of the lost revenue. It cannot be spent on pension deposits, paying off debt, adding to reserves, or grant matches. And the use of the funds will also be reported. With the American Recovery Plan, there is a quarterly report that has to be submitted to the federal government showing what we've allocated, what we've spent, and all of that. So they're particular on what all it's going for.
And I'm just assuming, but I want to ask, the council and myself will get a copy of that report when you submit it.
Yes, I can do that.
Okay, thank you.
And also, at your desk, you have a sheet that has the Arkansas Municipal League calculator sheet on. This is their revenue lost worksheet that I've used to calculate whether or not we've lost revenue. And it goes with the 2019 as being the base year. Actually, the second page of it is what you fill out, and it rolls over to the top, the first page. And we have to include all revenue sources. That means all of our different funds, all of the money that comes in. And then they have adjustments, so they take money out, like, for instance, the intergovernmental revenues from federal governments, intergovernment revenue from the state that is financed through federal grants, proceeds from issuance of debt, proceeds from sale of investments, all of those things listed on the right-hand side. And according to what they're using as adjustments and to calculate it and everything, currently we do not have any revenue loss according to these calculations. However, they're still going in and looking at all 4 of these categories, and they're constantly making updates and changes to them. So it may show that we don't have any lost revenue now, but it depends on if they've come up with any other adjustments or anything that may knock us over to where we do have lost revenue. But with the lost revenue, it covers from 2020, 2021, 2022, and 2023. So we have several years that we can still do these calculations. So whether we have lost revenue this year will not really determine whether we have lost revenue next year or the year after or the year after. And so, and they I also wanted to point out that they automatically give us a growth adjustment of 4.1%. I went through and it's based on revenues from 2016 through 2019, and I filled out that sheet to see what our growth rate was, and our average growth rate was only 1.6%. But we don't have to use that 1.6% in our calculation. They will allow us to use the 4.1. But if our growth rate would have been more than the 4.1, then we could have used that higher percent growth in the calculations. And so.
Clear as mud.
Clear as mud. Because there, like I said, I went to a conference at the end of July and they gave me this notebook that has tabs on all of the different things, and they're still making adjustments even after I got the notebook and all that. So I'm still learning and keeping up to date with it, and that's the reason why I haven't really been pressing on trying to get items for us to spend the money on, because all of the rules haven't been worked out yet. And so I'm still looking for guidance to make sure that we're going to be spending it appropriately, because I don't want to spend it and then the federal government come back and say, oh, you spent that wrong, so you have to pay us back. And so.
So the 2.7 million that we've received,
Yes.
we have not spent it?
We have not.
Okay.
It is sitting in an account, and it is gaining interest. And I found out while I was at the conference that the interest that is earned on that money can go back into our coffers. And so we don't have to report on what we spend those funds on. Even though the interest that we're earning on it is like, is little bitty, but.
So that 2.7, and then the 2.7 more that we will get has to be spent on one of these 4 things.
Yes, yes. And whenever I get more of the information is trickled down to where we know more about what's going on and everything, I'm sure that we can probably come up with another survey to send out and get citizen input on what they would like those funds to. I would have to have like a list of things that they would rather it be on and let them pick and choose on those items. Because it's more, it's easier for them to pick and choose than for them to write a book as like an essay to get feedback. And that's all I have.
And then, of course, the president, we assume, is going to sign the infrastructure bill, which will have limitations, what you can do on it as well. And so more rules, more regulations. Any money comes from the federal government's got strings.
Yes, got strings.
Okay, so council members, would you like to discuss anything with Cheryl about the American Recovery Plan? All right, thank you, Cheryl.
I want to ask Cheryl just one. So are we going to be able to do some improvements, if it's lighting or something like that, to some buildings and stuff, do you know, and enhancing the city of Jacksonville with some of that money? Will we be able
It would
to
have
figure
to be
out
under
ways to do
lost
that?
revenue, right?
If we have lost revenue, then I can use those funds for that. But that's the only way we would be able to do that.
But maybe in the infrastructure bill, when we learn more about it, it may have some things that we can do with you, in that area.
I actually have a question now. I'm sorry. Are you done, sir?
No?
Go ahead, Councilmember.
Would we be able to use these funds to possibly purchase buses if we decide to do an intercity bus plan from the city?
It would fall underneath the lost revenue also. As far as I know, I don't, like I said, they're still making changes, they're still looking at it and all of that. So as far as I know.
Thank you, Sheriff.
All right, you're welcome.
Appreciate you.
All right, you're welcome.
All right, so that brings us to ordinance 1667. I entertain a motion to put ordinance 1667 on the first reading.
Second.
Got
This
a
is
motion and a second.
1670?
1670, I'm sorry.
Okay, just making sure I got it.
Yeah. I got 2 6s and no 0. Okay. Roll call.
Councilmember Deeds.
Aye.
Bolden.
Aye.
Levens.
Aye.
Sansing.
Aye.
Ray.
Aye.
Ashburn.
Aye.
Trailer.
Aye.
Whitty.
Aye.
Smith.
Aye.
Raines.
Aye.
Ordinance number 1670, an ordinance to amend and modify Jacksonville Municipal Code 24410, declaring an emergency and for other purposes.
Okay, explanation. Calling on our HR director to come give us an explanation of this.
Our policy manual hadn't been
You
updated.
do state your name, I'm sorry.
Oh, my name is Charlotte Nelson. Our policy manual hadn't been updated since 2011, and most of the things that was in there, we are still good, but there was just a couple of things that we got with the mayor and all directors decided that maybe in the best interest of some of our employees is to change some things. The biggest change was the sick leave policy. We have employees that worked here and they have to wait 6 months to earn sick leave. I know when I started back in 2009, I got the flu and I didn't have any sick time because we had to wait 6 months. So we were just assuming that if you can receive insurance in 90 days, should we also receive sick leave in 90 days? Okay.
And what she wants you to do, you have a question on that part, ask her part by part as we go along.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, any questions about the sick leave?
How many hours of sick leave in 90 days you're talking about?
720 hours.
For the city?
For the city.
You said 7?
720 hours is your max.
No, I'm talking about. If you just first
Oh,
started
you'll
90
get six, in 90 days, you'll get 1.3.
1.3, okay.
Each payday, which comes out to be like 13.33 a month.
I think in answer to Reedy's question, you would get 13.33 times 3.
Yes.
You would get almost 40, right at 40 hours.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, about 35
Thank you,
hours.
Mike. I didn't.
Yeah. Any other questions on this portion? All right, go to the next one.
Discretionary days. We decided to up our discretionary days. Also, after you've been here 3 years, we can kind of consider that as a longevity thing. After 3 years, you get a discretionary day, and we upped it from there. 5 years, 2 discretionary days. 10 years, 3 discretionary days, and 15 years, you get 4 discretionary days. It's kind of like
What is it now?
It is 1 discretionary day for 5 years, 2 discretionary days after 10, and 3 after 15.
And what can these discretionary days be used for?
It's a personal day. You can use it for anything. You just can't split it up. You have to use it as a whole day.
Okay. And so these are accrued annually. So
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. After you've been here 3 years, you get a discretionary day. Discretionary day can also be a personal day.
Okay.
We call it a discretionary day.
And do you have to use it before your next anniversary?
Yes.
It's use or lose.
Yes.
Can we go back to something?
Yes, sir.
No.
The sick leave.
Yes, sir.
So you accrue 13.33 every employee, and you start from the day you're hired, or do you have to wait the 90 days?
Wait your 90 days.
Wait the 90 days. But then you can accrue 4 weeks of sick pay. Is that paid sick pay?
Yes, sir.
So 4 weeks a year?
Yes, sir.
Sick pay. What is it now?
It's not 4 weeks.
No, I wouldn't know.
You have to wait 6 months, so you got to wait half of a year, so
Yeah,
half
but
of that.
how much would a person that's been here a year, so they're eligible, so how much would they accrue over the course of a year now, before we change this?
Isn't it 720 already?
It's still 720. We're just starting at an earlier date. Am I understanding you correctly?
No.
Okay.
At 13.33, how much can you garner in a year?
13.33 times
160 hours.
times
4
6.
weeks.
Yes.
Yeah. And what can you do now?
Half of that.
So basically what we're doing is we're giving everyone
Mm-hmm.
an additional 2 weeks of pay.
For sick leave, yes, sir.
And what is required of sick leave?
Sick leave you have to use for you. It's not for your children or anybody
If I call
else.
up here and tell you that I have a headache, is that sick leave?
Yes, sir.
I can't be in today.
Yes, sir.
You have to have a medical.
No medical,
After 1 day, you have, after 2 days, 1 day, I'm sorry, 1 day, you have to present a doctor's note. After 3 days, you have to come in to HR and do FMLA paperwork.
If I've worked here 5 years, what you're doing isn't gonna change my sick pay at all.
yeah, it's gonna double
Is
it.
that correct? Or is it
It's
gonna
gonna
double?
double it.
720 is your max, but once you reach 720, you can't go past that. So I understand.
720 hours
Yes,
total
sir.
forever? So if I worked here 40 years and I
For-
use
yes, sir.
160 a week?
Yes,
or-
sir.
And you don't use it, you lose it.
You lose it. Once you reach 720, and you lose anything after that.
You can bank 720.
That's just the maximum you can accumulate.
That's our
You start
max.
losing after that.
You accumulate it.
Yes.
But what if I used it every year?
Then you have
It
done.
doesn't carry over. You just get the 13.33.
So every year I get 4 weeks of sick pay,
Paid sick pay.
paid sick pay.
You have to have documentation.
Yeah, I know.
Yes, sir.
There's always somebody out there that's going
But
to.
we're not changing that.
We
Correct?
also-
Am I correct, Charlotte? We're not changing.
No.
That is just like it is now. The only difference is we start accumulating it after 90 days when your insurance goes into effect.
Well, that's not the only change. We get double the sick days. That's what the issue is. What I'm understanding from the discussion.
Correct? It's 160 hours per
Right, so 4 weeks a year of sick pay.
Instead of 2 weeks.
Right.
2 days, a little over,
2 weeks now, are we?
No, we're giving, it's 720 right now. Michelle has
No, that's the
720
That's the
hours.
max.
Miss Charlotte, could you speak on the elementary level to help us?
I say like that.
Could you go back?
We
to
need
session?
to, I'm
What is
sorry, I
it
don't have my
now?
calculator with me.
Go back to session.
What is
If
it
you
now
wanna do
that we
13
change it?
That can
If you want to
explain
do 13.33 times 6, it's times 6, that's 6 months.
Let me help you. I think I understand the question.
You understand the question?
Charlotte, they're not asking to change the rate of accrual.
Okay.
Right now, we get 13.33 a month already. It's just starting at
We're
90
starting
days
at eight.
instead of at 6 months.
so right now,
We're
right now,
already,
y'all are
we're already
accruing
at the point, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
No.
Okay, all you did was confuse us.
No,
Charlotte.
thank you.
Kev.
Maybe I wouldn't understand the question. We were just asking for it to start earlier than 6 months. I know. Are we good with the sick leave? Okay.
Any questions about the sick leave? And basically, the only change, it doesn't change those that have been here a year. It changes that we're gonna start at 90 days instead of, all right, okay, go ahead, sorry.
Discretionary days. Any questions about that?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I got way off on sick leave. What did you say about discretionary days?
We upped it. We upped one discretionary day.
And how many do we have now?
You used to get 1 after 5 years. Now you will get 2 after 5 years, and 3 after 10 years, 4 after 15 years, and we added 1 after 3 years.
Okay.
And this is continuous employment. This,
Yes, ma'am.
yeah.
Any more questions on discretionary days? And this is a benefit for our employees, is what we're looking at, you know, how to keep morale up and things of that nature during these tough times.
Well,
I think it's really needed because
these tough times, though, this is gonna be forever.
That's
Hopefully,
right.
times won't be tough forever.
That's right. Yeah, y'all are gonna have to vote on this, so, okay. All right, so the next thing.
The next thing is the FMLA intermittent leave. With the FMLA intermittent leave, we was letting you use up to 12 weeks for maternity leave, for your mother, father, up to that nature. We was giving you paid leave for 12 weeks. FMLA is a unpaid. So we were trying to cut back on the FMLA for intermittent leave for maternity leave and for your parents. So we're asking that it be cut back to 2 weeks instead of them getting paid for 12 weeks. We have several employees that wife had a maternity leave and they took 12 weeks of paid leave.
Is it full pay?
It's full pay, yes, sir.
And so you're wanting to cut it back from 12 weeks to how much?
2 weeks. And if you want to take any other time after that, you can use your vacation time.
I have a question.
So where would a not me having a baby, but my wife having a baby, and her taking, she's not going to be limited to 2 weeks, right? If she
No,
was an
sir.
employee of the
No,
city,
sir.
But I would be limited to 2 weeks.
You will be limited to 2 weeks.
All right, just
Or
wanna
you
make
can
sure
use,
we're not-
we give out enough vacation. You're welcome to use your vacation time.
Okay.
But as far as like, if we're directly employing somebody who is going through pregnancy, what is their policy?
They get 12 weeks.
Okay.
This is just for family, immediate
Right,
family.
right, right.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Just making sure that.
Yes, sir.
Is that saving the city money?
Yes, sir.
What?
Because-
Do you have a number on how much that is?
I don't have a number, but I'm going to use one department. I'm going to use the fire department. Maternity FMLA is 26% of the request, but 49 of it is cost and time off. When we have a firefighter that takes 12 weeks, we're paying him full pay, and we're paying someone else overtime to cover his shifts for those 12 weeks. So about 30, I think it was 35 or 36% of our FMLA leave was for intermittent leave, for maternity, mom, dad, to that nature.
And you said that you actually came up with a lot of this stuff with the director, so I assume that they are fine with this, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds good to me, especially for saving money.
And then we
I have a
had
question.
Stephanie was in also to make sure we were doing it correctly.
Because fire department, police department run different schedules than 8 to 5, Monday through Friday. If a fireman who works a 24-hour shift takes a day of vacation, and so they miss their whole 24-hour shift, is that 3 days of vacation?
Yes, because they take a vacation day and then they're off 2 days.
Well, no, but I mean.
No,
okay.
it's just 1 day of vacation, Mayor, just your shift.
Well,
your
their shift is 24 hours.
Right.
We better let the expert tell us how that.
Yeah.
Excuse me. No, go ahead.
So when you're talking about vacation day, one work day for a firefighter is 24 hours. It's still one vacation day for us, not to be misconstrued with 3 8-hour, what you all would consider vacation days. That's why our vacation hours and the amount that we can carry on the books is larger. So it's 3 calendar days, but they already have 2 of those days scheduled as off.
Okay, because, you go home at 5 o'clock, you're not here like y'all are.
Right.
Y'all are there after 5 until 7 in the morning.
7 to 7.
Okay. All right, I just wanted to clarify that in my little pea brain.
Okay.
Chief, maybe if you could tell
Yes.
me if I was working for Parks and Rec and I had 40 hours of vacation, I don't know how long you have to be here to get 40 hours one
1 year.
week. What would that be in hours for a fireman? That would make me understand it better.
Well, it depends. I think we're mixing up vacation and sick leave. So,
I mean, your 40 hours is different than.
So what you're talking about is a week.
Yeah.
Okay.
So do
So-
they get 5 days? Is that what they get?
Well, one week is a 48-hour week. The other one is a 55-hour week. The third week is a 65-hour week. The way that the 1 on 2 off schedule is, if you take all of those hours, you divide it by 3, it's an average of 56 hours per week.
So if I got 40 hours a week, someone in the fire department would get 56 hours a week.
So the calculations are different because of that,
Yeah.
and
But
how
I mean,
much.
But that's what it would be.
Right.
Yeah, okay. But if I use one of those 56, then it's 24 off of it?
I guess I don't understand what you're saying.
If I
Charlotte's
take- if I-
saying
now,
yes.
You've got 56 hours.
Right.
I've got 56 total. If I take 1 day, does it subtract 20?
1 day subtracts 24 hours,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay, yeah, I mean, that makes.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
being a blue collar worker and a union man now, we competing with other cities for help, benefits.
Yes.
Are we striking some benefits from our employees? And then you striking some benefits now, that's gonna cause a little problem for some people, you know?
We're not striking any benefits. We're giving them benefits with the, like, Mike said,
We in
you know.
competition with everybody else.
Yes, yes,
Okay.
sir. Because giving them an extra day after 3 years, that's a benefit, a discretionary day. So you'll have your 40 hour, you'll have 80 hours, because after 2 years, you get 80 hours of vacation, and now you would get a discretionary day after 3 years. So after 3 years, you get 80 hours of vacation, and you get a discretionary day.
Good, Reedy?
Yeah, my question.
Okay. Any other questions of the FMLA changes? Okay. Do you have more?
The other thing was the safe sensitive positions. We had to add that to our policy about pre-employment drug testing, explaining safe sensitive positions, Anybody that is on our random drug test are in a safe sensitive position. Fire, police, park maintenance, lifeguards, 911, street, sanitation. So
Heavy
we-
equipment operators, first
Yes,
responders.
those are street and sanitation. So we needed to put that in our policy to explain, you know, why, safe census position and random drug testing.
Can I say something?
Yes, sir.
Why can't we just put all employees on drug testing, random drug testing?
Municipal League says that, they have certain positions that can and cannot do random.
Okay.
I think it,
All right, is that the last one? Any more questions?
Can I ask another question?
Certainly.
What about, I've got to make sure I word this right. What about the ones that go and get a marijuana prescription from the doctor like they sick?
If you are in a safe sensitive position, you cannot have a marijuana card.
Very good help. I like that.
Because
Well,
you're on a random drug
That was
test.
discussed at some length in the state capitol. Okay, so we've heard the explanation. I entertain a motion to approve on first reading,
Motion to approve it?
in place on second. All right. Roll call.
Councilmember Deets.
Aye.
Bolden.
Aye.
Levens.
Aye.
Sensing.
Aye.
Ray.
Aye.
Ashburn.
Aye.
Trailer.
Aye.
Twitty.
Aye.
Smith.
Aye.
Raines.
Aye.
Any discussion before we move on? All right, if not, I entertain a motion to approve on second reading,
So
place on
moved.
third and final. We got a motion and second. Roll call.
Councilmember Deets.
Aye.
Bolden.
Aye.
Levens.
Aye.
Sensing.
Aye.
Ray.
That's correct.
Aye.
Yes, sir.
Ashburn.
Aye.
Trailer.
Aye.
Twitty.
Aye.
Smith.
Aye.
Raines.
Aye.
Okay, any more discussion? All right, I didn't entertain the motion to approve and adopt.
So move.
Second.
Okay, got a motion. Roll call.
Councilmember Deets.
Aye.
Bolden. Levens.
Aye.
Sensing.
Aye.
Ray.
Aye.
Ashburn.
Aye.
Trailer.
Aye.
Twitty.
Aye.
Smith.
Aye.
Raines.
Aye.
All right, do I hear a motion on the emergency clause?
So move.
Second.
Okay,
Question.
roll call.
I got
He's got a
a
question.
question.
Oh, on the emergency clause?
Yeah, so if we put an emergency clause on this goes into effect,
September 1st.
Next month.
is this not something that would be better to go into effect on January 1st? And the reason I mean, I'm just asking just from the fact that I signed up in January for this, and I hate for it to change in the middle of the year.
Well, the reason being is one of the issues that the fire department, I think maybe other organizations are having is FML as far as maternity leave. And we either have or are going to have some employees requesting 12 weeks to be off for the remainder of this year. We can't afford that. Absolutely can't afford it. That's the emergency clause part of it, as far as I'm concerned.
And with COVID spiking, some of our employees that's been here 4 months, they have attracted it. And we so generously with the department heads have donated time to sick leave time to those people so they can get paid, so they don't have to go without pay, because the sick leave policy says six months.
Okay. Just curious.
All right,
Wait.
on the emergency clause is what we're on.
Can you explain that to me? What you just said?
We have employees
Mm-hmm.
that have been here maybe 4 months and have attracted COVID.
Right.
And they didn't get paid. So we, as directors, got together and donated some time so those employees can get paid.
And it wasn't just directors, other people
It was
gave time.
employees also.
A lot of people came together.
Right. I mean, first off, thank you for doing that. But, like, I get that we're doing an emergency to do this, but how can we retroact and compensate you guys for that? Because while I appreciate you and your generosity, like, we shouldn't have a system where you guys have to do that, you know?
Some of us are at our max and we're
Okay.
losing.
Okay.
So, I had overwhelming emails saying, I want to donate, because they were losing time.
Right.
You've been here.
Sorry for interrupting. This is a nationwide thing. A lot of corporations have been doing this, so it's
The
not.
county
I know, and I mean, you're tearing up, I'm tearing up over here, like, I'm,
Yeah, in other cities.
but, like, I mean, so long as, like, you guys aren't, you know, taking from your families, you know, if you guys are at your maximum, that's understandable, but, like, I don't think that we should have others, like, sacrificing their sick leave just in case if, say, for instance, they got sick.
I'll give you an example.
Right?
The fire department max is 10, 14?
For sick leave?
Yes, isn't it? I lost
Well,
it for a moment.
it's 1680.
1680. Okay, that is equivalent to over 3 months. So a lot of the fire departments donated their time because they looked at it like, I can live off the 3 months and I can donate some time.
Right.
Okay, you got it?
Yeah.
And so
I
we
mean,
have a
and
few
thank
new
you guys.
employees.
Thank you, everybody who did that, you know, who isn't here. 'Cause I mean, that's remarkable for us to stand up and be resilient as a system, you know, as a municipal family, you know.
Councilmember Traylor.
Only question I have, the only way that you can donate your time though is if it's for COVID, correct?
Yes.
Nothing else?
Nothing else.
Okay.
Not for going to Disney World, none of that.
Not your cruise, not your Disney cruise, okay.
And let me say something too, so that you'll be aware. The cohesiveness of the employees of the city of Jacksonville and the directors is one of the best. I've been around the world several times. I've never seen unity like what's in our organization. And I know that this is needed to be passed, and I want to thank the directors and all the staff, because Councilman Blair was saying, I didn't know that. I said, it's a lot of stuff going on and you don't know, people trying to help people make sure everybody's taken care of. I'm gonna tell you this community is one of the strongest communities when it comes to management in this city. That's from the street, police department, fire department. It's all about unity, all about taking care of each other. Jacksonville might be a city, but I think it's a family. And I believe that, and I want to thank all of you directors for everything you do, and thank you for putting this together.
I'll second that, so.
So is it only hours that can be donated? Is that it? Just hours that can be donated, or can you donate money?
Hours, just hours.
And it's for COVID only. and we got a pretty good stockpile of
We
it.
do.
Like city council members can donate their hours for their month or anything like that, right?
Yeah, you don't get sick
No,
time.
sir. You get sick
Oh,
time
it's only
vacation now.
Mr. Mayor,
All the council members are probably in favor of forfeiting their pay for the next 6 months.
Okay, so it's time
Mr.
for a roll
Mayor.
call on the emergency clause.
Mayor,
Yes.
yeah, I was about to say I'd like to move for us to go ahead and adopt the emergency clause.
Yeah, that's what we're gonna vote on now. Roll call.
Councilmember Deets.
Aye.
Bolden.
Aye.
Levens.
Aye.
Sansing.
Aye.
Ray.
Aye.
Ashburn. Ashburn.
Barbara, you're still muted.
Yes.
Trailer.
Aye.
Whitty.
Aye.
Smith.
Aye.
Raines.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Now then, we have a reappointment, Civil Service Commission, Mr. Piggy, term expired 4/1/27. I got a motion, do I have a second?
I'll second.
I got a second. All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, none. All right, it's time for announcements, and I'm gonna hold this up. Vax Jack is August 28th and 27th. August 27th is 4:30 to 8 p.m. at the high school gymnasium. August 28th is 8 a.m. to noon, sponsored by a whole bunch of groups in the city. They'll be giving COVID shots, and there's a phone number on this brochure of 982-1511 to call to set an appointment and get your, so if you hadn't been vaccinated, it's a good chance to go get vaccinated. The other thing, this is for the council. The Metro Plan is wanting to put together a field trip to Northwest Arkansas to look at their Razorback Greenway, because they envision eventually having a bike pedestrian trail from Ward all the way to the river trail, which eventually go all the way to Hot Springs. Same thing from Conway this way. So this is a chance, and they'd like for the city of Jacksonville to put 12 people together. It cost us $10,700. Metro Plan is probably going to pay for half of it. I'm going to ask a local business to underwrite the other half. What the people in, I probably got 6 people willing to go now. So if any council member would like to go and see what impact that Razorback Greenway has had on Northwest Arkansas, the economic impact, and how they're going to fund it, we're going to ask the Walton Foundation to help fund this. We set aside $55 million in Metro Plan to do this, and the county judge has already got an engineer. So if any council members interested in going, your cost would be to pay for your gas to get up there, and if you work for the city, we'll pay for your hotel room, which is $120. So it's going to be a minimum cost to the city. But if you're interested, please call Michelle, let her know, or Susan, let her know, and we'll put y'all on the list. We have probably 6 spots that are available right now. I think Roger Sundermeyer's going, Kevin's going, Jimmy, Melissa. So yeah, and it's what can we do to make us use, as a nation, use less fossil fuels, less carbon outputs, stay healthier. I mean, there's a lot of things to this, and we're way behind Europe in this stage. So yes, so so if you're interested, we need to know. And if any of my department heads are interested, please let me know. Councilmember Blevins.
I was going to say something, but I think Cheryl had something she wanted to say real quick. I don't know. She was...
I wanted to do something before you adjourn.
Okay.
Oh, okay. I know you jumped straight to announcements. I had a new business. I just had a question to ask since we had Charlotte here. I know 2 months ago we took down the CDBG director post down because you said we had 5 applicants.
I think we're putting it back up, aren't we, Charlotte?
Yes,
sir. It came back up, but so we didn't get anything out of the 5 applicants?
Well, we didn't have enough to really hold interviews. We're hoping to get just a couple more that are going to be qualified and trained. Well, we're also working with HUD to find out what training we can get this person to get them ready, because we need to get going with it.
Yeah, I'm definitely interested in us. We're paying a 43%, like like specialty cap to keep Teresa here, so I'm, you know, I was just wondering what happened with that, because I didn't hear anything, so.
Me, Mayor, and Cheryl reviewed all the applications and.
Yeah, I was just curious if we got anybody, that's all.
And it's such a, you know, we're probably going to have to train that person for the rest of the year to get them in position to take over when Teresa's contract runs out. Yes, sir.
I have two items. First item I like to put out, I know Jimmy's not here, is dealing with the courthouse. My little spider senses are going off dealing with the courthouse. You and I have talked. But we need to make sure we get a good security system over there, because I remember years ago when I recommended the cameras that's here, the key punch, the pad that's here at the city council. I'm the one that recommended that. And we kept working at it, but we need it at the courthouse. And we'd love to have it where it's EFODs, but we have people over there that it's not safe, and you're in a courtroom, and people are starting to act nutty. So if a person act nutty, we need to have a quick response. So I really want us to get on that and make sure it's done. So I wanted that in a minute, so it's there, so we can talk to Jimmy Oakley.
We are getting bids on that right now.
Great. Secondly, I know our council meeting is going to be the 2nd of September, and you know, Labor Day weekend is hitting, and I would like to know if our council members would be in favor of us putting off that council meeting. I know we can have a special meeting if the mayor needs it.
Is that a motion that we
Do
cancel
I have to ask for the suspend rules?
Yeah, no, we're not to clear the room.
We have a chicken ordinance.
That's gonna be on the 16th.
Chicken?
16th? Oh, it had to be put.
No, chicken on the order.
Okay.
Okay. So, all right, so do I have a second on the motion to not meet on the second? Have a second. So, now that, I want to make this clear. If we have something that comes up, I will call a special meeting on the 9th if it needs to be, okay? So, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay.
Nay.
Okay, it passed. All right, any other announcements?
Cheryl.
Oh, Cheryl, sorry.
That's okay. There was an item that I wanted to discuss, and I overlooked it and forgot, so I wanted to let y'all be aware. Whenever I was doing our revenue charts and everything, and I saw that the city and county sales tax was up, I know that there was a discussion about increasing some of our lower paid employees. Right. And so I believe that we have enough money from our increase in city and county sales tax that would support us raising anyone who full-time employees that are making less than $31,200 to raise them up to that.
Oh, okay.
What does that equal an hour?
On an average, it's about $15 an hour.
Oh, yeah.
At 2,000, at 40 hours a week,
Yeah.
times 52 weeks, that's
Yeah.
$15 an hour.
But we're looking at the salaries, and so anyone who's making less than $31,200, we're gonna move them up to
Right,
$31,200.
it's salary, not hourly.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Do we need to vote on that?
Yeah, you got it.
You'll get that chance.
Yeah, okay,
Just
I want to vote on
just
that.
the agenda,
okay.
or the budget.
Could we kind of like get an agreement so we can get it started September 1st?
I agree.
Okay,
Or
I
no?
would need a motion.
I make a motion that we
Adopt the 31-2.
31-2.
adopt the 31-2.
Second.
Stephanie, would we have to suspend the rules?
Is this new full-time employees or employee that?
It, all full-time employees
Okay.
Okay, whether they're currently working or they're new,
currently working.
Currently working at this time.
and new hires.
I just had a question.
All right,
Okay, so I
Rose?
make a motion.
Yeah, so this wasn't on the agenda, so are we going to have to suspend the rules to put this on the
We would need to
agenda?
suspend the rules.
It's part of her deal.
Okay, yes.
Okay, I make a motion, we suspend the rules.
Second.
All right, roll call. Or can we do it by ayes? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. All right, motion
Make a
carries.
motion, we,
I have a question.
okay.
Was there any money left over for the people that were not full-time
No, we
to bump them at all?
No,
This
we
is
were
for-
just for full-time.
Okay, I'm fine. That's good. Let's do it.
Okay, so so the motion second still stands?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, so all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. All right, it carries. I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
Well, we need to do an emergency clause.
That was just
That was for
to suspend rules and put it on.
Yeah.
No, we'd already done that. No, we'd already suspended the rules.
Where was the discussion then?
Okay, then before we vote, let's do a discussion. Thought we were through with discussion on the 31-2.
I thought we were at discussion, that's why I asked questions.
Okay, so, all right, so let's discuss it.
Cheryl?
Yes.
How many employees is this?
How many?
20. We have 20 employees.
20.
20 employees, and what is the pay now?
About, what is 1351?
I don't know.
1351.
Here, let me get my calculator
Can I
out
borrow
for
your
you.
calculator?
Go over all some fingers.
It's like 28, 29,000.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I've
It's-
looked at these numbers.
Yeah, it's like 28 to 29,000.
It's like 1352 and 1426 is the
Okay.
hourly.
Yeah.
numbers.
1351 times 2080.
1351 times 80. It's 28,100.
Yeah.
And so this would go into.
How long do they have to be here to get to 31 and 2?
This is for everybody that's coming in will make the 31-2. Am I correct, Sheriff?
They're making 21.
Is it
Okay.
28.90 now?
Hey, you guys, I can't really hear the discussion that's going on over here, and it's really important. So can we prioritize this over here?
It's for all the employees that are employed now.
Making 28,000.
Yes, sir. And all the
Them up to 31,200.
yes, sir. And all the ones that will be coming in.
Okay. So how long do they have to be here as an employee making 28,100 before they would be making 31,200? Is there a rate?
There's not a rate or anything like that. It's just based on raises.
We did just the annual
So
salary.
where is someone that was making 28,100, the last time we had a raise, where are they at now?
That's where they're at. After the 4% that we gave at the first of the year,
They're at 31.2.
they're at 28. And that's why we're asking to raise them to
The ones
31.
that were at 28.1 before we gave the 4% raise. I guess what I'm asking is, what about the people that are right above them? Are they gonna be making what they're making, or are they gonna be still below what someone was making December 31st before they got a raise?
The only people that will be making less are the part-timers and seasonal. We're bumping everybody up to the 31.2, their annual salary.
And it's 20 employees.
20 employees, yes, sir.
That are hired right now. We're not talking about people that we are potentially hiring as of.
These are people that are hired right now.
Okay. And are we, I know that we have a lot of positions available on, right, does that directly impact any of those positions that are on the website?
Yes, ma'am.
How many?
There's no telling.
It's about 4.
About 4?
I think so.
So we're looking at increasing 24 positions.
To 31,200.
So that's a little bit less than a 4,000 increase, right? From 20, yeah.
It's about 3, yeah.
Right.
Three times 24, yeah. Annually. Okay. Any more questions of this motion before we move on? Mike?
I have no problem with people making more money. I hate to do it at the end of a meeting that we didn't know anything about it, and all of a sudden we're gonna just
Yeah.
do
This was supposed to be included with Cheryl.
It was supposed to be included in with my budget information.
Let me say this. No matter what time it's revealed to us, if it's to help our employees, what's the problem? If we're trying to help our employees and we can afford it, what's the problem? That's my whole thing. I don't have a problem getting it to the end. As long as I know we're gonna help the employees, let's do it. As long as we can afford it, let's do it.
careful to change something that we have to do every year. on, right?
Mhm. Well, Ashley, whenever I come before you with the amendment, the budget amendment in October, this will be included in there if there, and so it will be included in that budget amendment.
Mr. Mayor, what were you guys going back and forth on? Is that part of this discussion? Yes.
No.
Okay.
It's an ordinance we're gonna have at our next meeting.
Okay. But right now, it would be helpful for us to go ahead and move on this and do the emergency clause so that as of September 1, we can increase that minimum full-time salary.
Okay, Mike, you have any more questions? Y'all have any more questions on the motion?
Is this as a resolution or?
Yeah, this is just a motion.
Okay.
Right, and so all we have to do is a voice vote. All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. All right. Thank you. All right, now I'd entertain a motion to adjourn. Anybody gonna make a motion to adjourn? All right, we're adjourned. Mike, I understand what you're saying.